and welcome to the BuildASoil Family Farms YouTube series. In the springtime, when the sun comes out and things are happening and we have just planted fresh plants in the greenhouse, we tend to see a lot of aphids that just want to come into the greenhouse, and it's always this time of year they really try to take over. So one of the most important things that we do to take care of that is spray. We don't use any chemicals or pesticides here at BuildASoil Family Farms, so we like to use natural products and keep up on our IPMs. So I know that a lot of growers in their gardens, they have their own IPM programs. Here at BuildASoil Family Farms, when it's like this, I take every opportunity to spray, maybe every day, typically every other day, but we spray a lot during the springtime to keep the pests down. If I didn't, I would be overrun to take care of that problem. There's a few things that we use, and so I'm going to show you those right now. If you're doing like a spot treatment in your greenhouse or grow, you could use something small like a chapin. Here at our greenhouse, I've found this product when I was running a grow a few years ago, and it's the most amazing thing I've ever used, and I don't know if I could go without it on my farm because it works so well. This is the Grow King sprayer. It's battery operated. Absolutely love this sprayer, and I use it every other day here in the greenhouse, whether we're foliar feeding or just doing IPM. It's just the most efficient way to spray. A couple things about this is it's 15 gallons. It is battery operated and totally waterproof, so you don't have to worry about ruining anything as you're spraying. The lady who runs the company is extremely nice. We have this awesome air pressured gun here. This is what we use to spray with. We attach it has a quick connect. It has a 50-foot hose. My greenhouse is 100 feet from here to the end, so I can do half, and I actually bought an extra hose so I have the full 100 feet worth. I've gotten a few comments about, oh, it's really expensive and I could build one of those at home for this amount of money, and you could totally do that. But they've perfected this product, and I don't, first of all, have the knowledge or the time to be building myself one of these. So for me, this has been the best investment on my farm. You have your little cables here, and these hook up to your battery. I could probably get about 2 hours worth of use out of one battery. One of the things I've learned over the years is that you absolutely have to get full coverage when you're spraying for pests. Foliar feeding is not that big of a deal, but for pests, it's a huge deal that you get full coverage on your plant. You're getting the bottom of the leaf, the top of the leaf. Let me talk about a couple of the products that we usually use here in the greenhouse. Today, we're going to be using one we haven't used before, but I know is going to work really well. In the organic world, there isn't like a ton of options. One of the things that we're going to be getting soon is parasitic wasps and ladybugs. That really helps with the aphid population. We don't really have any other pest issues in our greenhouse besides the pill bugs, which I'd like to mention that we put down diatomaceous earth in our bed. It's really worked well, and I hate seeing the little pill bugs die, but I've definitely noticed a huge amount of dead pill bugs in the bed. So I'm really excited that maybe we found a way to conquer that problem in particular. I have beets and radishes growing in here right now, and I'm really hoping that we won't see all the bites and stuff that we were seeing before. So here we have Thermex. This is what I normally use for any type of mixing amendments that I do, just because it emulsifies really well, helps my products mix together. But this is a saponin product, comes from the yucca plant, and you could just use this alone. From what I understand, it coats the aphids, they can't fly, and then they end up dying. We have a plant wash here that we use. This is Tweetment. It's really minty, so it repels a lot of pests that don't like those certain essential oils and scents. Here we have Jadam. This is a Korean farming technique that's made by Growing Organic, and I absolutely love this product. This is actually my go-to here in the greenhouse. We do a really strong dose of this, and it works really, really well. We see good results. The doses here, if I'm doing a heavy dose, 4 ounces per gallon, and then just your regular dose would be 1 ounce per gallon. That would be your regular IPM maintenance. And then this would be if you're having issues like we are now, we go to the heavy dose, and we do it every other day. The other product that we sometimes use, which you guys have all probably heard of, is neem. Personally, I don't like neem. I've had a lot of really bad experiences with it as far as it burning my plants, because neem is really hard to emulsify. And so if you don't emulsify it properly, get it really broke down into your water, you end up spraying clumps onto your plant, and it just kind of sticks to it. The sun comes out, and your plants are burned. So I only use neem when I don't have plants in the bed. I know there's an issue. I'll go through and I will spray sometimes the sides of the greenhouse, the walls on the ground, and empty beds with neem. It does work. It's not my favorite. Today we're going to be using the Quiaha. We've talked about this a little bit in other videos. 60% saponin, and it's been proven that saponins can get rid of aphids and kill them. So instead of doing our regular dose that we would use as a wetting agent for just keeping things nice and moist. Okay, so the misters are going off right now, and so it's a little bit loud in here, but we really try to keep our humidity up. So we've left them on during the video today, and it makes you feel like you're sort of in a jungle. And as the plants grow up, it's really fun to come in here, see the misters on and all the plants all the way to the ceiling. So sorry if it's a little loud. So back to the Quiaha. This particular product we believe is the best product on the market because there's 60% saponins. So we're gonna go ahead today and do what I would call a hero dose or a big dose of this, not your typical dose. The normal dose for just as a wetting agent is 1/8 of a teaspoon per gallon. Today I'm doing an entire teaspoon per gallon. Right here I've got, since we did 1 teaspoon per gallon, I've already gone ahead and put 15 teaspoons worth of Quiaha here. I always get a smaller vessel to mix things in so that I can make sure whatever it is, say I'm putting like 6 things in here, I want to make sure they're really, really mixed up. I'm not going to trust my cold water to do that job for me. So I always get a little hot water, a little cold water, make it nice and warm. Just remember, if you're using hot water or anything like that, it can't be too hot if you're putting microbial products in or anything, because you'll kill them before they ever make it out to your garden. So it's really important to just make sure that you're not using super, super hot water, just enough to help with the emulsification process. I'm gonna dump this in. I always like to have a whisk. I think it's the best way. I also love cooking, so I've just learned that it's the best way to make sure things are mixed up properly. As you can see, all the little soap bubbles are coming up. And I'm just gonna give it a little stir. You want everything to be really mixed up before you go put it in the water. It's usually pretty warm out of the hose, but in the wintertime it's freezing cold. So the sprayer right now has really cold water. This does not smell very good. It smells like a dirty sock. I could see all the little granules in there before. Now it's looking pretty clear. You can grab like a longer stick or whatever, but I'm gonna use my whisk today because it's all dissolved already. So today I didn't use this filter because I know there's not any like hard granules in here, but typically I would put this filter right on top and pour anything I'm using through here. That way, let me show you this. This is our little nozzle, and it is what sucks up the water, but it has a little mesh screen on it to make sure that you're not pulling up any little particles through your hose and then clogging up the actual sprayer itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my lid on here and show you how this works. Give it a little shake. So this hose is a no kink line or a no tangle. I can kind of just lay it all on the ground and walk down the aisle and it's not gonna kink. Sometimes there's a little bit of a tangle. The handle has a quick connect and the hose also has a quick connect, which makes it super efficient. Basically just like that. And then when you're gonna do the other side, we've got our handle just like this. And there you go. So pretty easy setup. Positive to the positive and negative to the negative. Simple as that. We got our battery. I've hooked up my hose. I'm gonna turn on my machine and it's gonna build pressure, so it takes a couple minutes. As you can hear, it's a really quiet piece of equipment and I enjoy that. And I know I mentioned that a little bit earlier, but it's so very important that you get full coverage on your plant and you're not just like putting a little bit on top and then thinking that maybe you've conquered your problem. It is so important to do it over and over again until you see the numbers decrease. You see them go away completely. I've learned that kind of the hard way. In the beginning of like my spraying days, I wouldn't really pay that much attention and we'd have like it would get out of control. And now I just make sure to blast them. I almost feel like I'm going to war and I don't want anything to conquer my greenhouse. Let me show you today how I use the sprayer. I can actually go across the greenhouse from where I'm standing. So I'm gonna give you a little example and show you and how much coverage you can get. If you can see, it's a really fine mist. And so a lot of your sprayers don't have that fine of a mist. Things aren't broken up like they're supposed to be, and you're not really getting full coverage. I'm pretty systematic about everything that I do here at the farm. Reason being is because I want to make sure that I don't miss stuff. So like I mentioned, when you're pulling up your bed, you go section by section because you don't want to miss anything. And that's just something we've learned over the years here at the farm, is that you can really get like discombobulated, like where you at, what did I just do, what haven't I done yet, what do I need to do, where am I? Like, you have so much going on. There's just so much. So it's really important to take it step by step, know your process and your procedure if you have a big operation and things don't get missed. So I will go up this one aisle and I will spray both sides, and then I skip an aisle and come back down and do 2 at a time. And like I said before, you can get right up on the plant and see how little it disturbs my plant. But one of the things I always do is go underneath my plant first and then over the top. Aphids really love to hang out in these little cracks in the middle of your plants. And so it's super important that you're getting those little spaces that they get into. So, okay, I was just kidding about it being a no tangle hose. Apparently I'm tangled. So usually this works pretty smoothly, but of course right now I'm a little tangled up. So let me get situated. Like I said before, so some of the jobs that you do here in the greenhouse, you have to do on your own. We have a few things that we've had to work out to help with situations. Like I have a brick here I'm going to use to help guide my hose down the aisle so it doesn't kind of skip over and knock down my plants as I get really far down the aisle. So I set it here. As you can see, it just has a little notch kind of knocked out of it. We just found it like that, and it's proven to work really well, like this. And now the hose is going to stay in there for the most part as I go down the aisle. The optimum time to spray would be right before the sun comes out or right before the sun goes down. As you can see, it's sunny in here right now, but we're getting rain all day today. It's intermittent clouds, so I know that here in a second there's not going to be sun blaring down on the greenhouse, and that way I know my plants aren't going to get burned in the process. So as you can see, the line stays pretty straight. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid my line ever hitting my plants and knocking them down. It's okay for your plant to kind of move around. So in nature, even a tiny little baby plant, it's probably going to have to withstand thunderstorms and wind and rain and all the things. So all that does for your plant is actually make it stronger. It promotes hormones that strengthen the plant. And so as I'm going through it, I obviously don't want to be knocking it over, snapping it, and really stressing it out. So don't worry about that as you're going. It's okay if they're kind of, going around just like as if the wind was blowing. We have radishes and beets on the side of our beds. We're trying to maximize our bed space and profit. I'm making sure as I spray to also get those, because aphids will go anywhere where there's a young, healthy plant. Take your hose in your home garden and knock aphids off with water. That's a deterrent. If you do it every day, that can really help if you don't have any of these products. Some people use just like dish Dawn soap. If you're knocking them off every day, it's not killing them, but they do weaken your plant. Even if you're just knocking them off, it's still, your plant gets the chance to relax and not be fighting. It's really fun when we get the ladybugs too. They decimate aphids and they really help. But I can't get too many beneficials right too early in the season because of the fact that I could kill them if something happens, if the temperature drops. So even my bees, I wait like another month. Right now is March, the end of March. And we'll definitely be showing you that as we get there. I'm super excited to share with you bringing in bees and ladybugs and beneficials to the greenhouse because they make a huge difference and they play a huge role here. As I'm back here in the greenhouse, you can see some strings here. This is our trellising system for tomatoes, which I'm really excited to share with you. We're gonna do another video here soon and show you exactly how we prune and trellis up our tomatoes so that we get optimal growth all year long. I've sprayed these 2 aisles. We've talked about full coverage and all the things that are really important when you're spraying in your greenhouse, your backyard, whatever it may be. I'm gonna go ahead and do that exact same thing to everything here in the greenhouse, including all my little baby tomato plants on the table and anything else. Sometimes I even get like the corners and the walls, but I'm gonna do exactly what I did here to the entire greenhouse. We're really learning that in the springtime, it's important to keep up on that. You know, if we try to ignore it and wait till there's a bigger problem, it's like we're just chasing our tail the entire season. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I really love sharing with you guys all the processes here at the farm. I really enjoy reading all your comments. So if you have comments and more questions, please drop them down below. Subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.